flame shape do you use? My model is a perfect example of like pretty much any flame will work. So do I use this one, that one, this or that one, both, or none of them? Let me go ahead and just show you, okay? Now presenting the flames. We got nib, precision, rocket, soft, and Russian. Let's do this. Because my client is going to be able to pocket so well, I'm just gonna jump in really quick with my pusher. I'm just releasing that cuticle off of the nail plate. So you see how I have some buildup of skin cells right there? Do not take your pusher and try to scratch it off. I'm gonna do that all with my flame. If you're new to opening up a pocket, I strongly recommend using the soft flame. I'm gonna recommend the soft flame. Now what's really important, because each flame is going to have a different body shape, is that you're using that first zone in the bit to go parallel to the nail plate. So my e-file isn't turned on right now, but I want you guys to see the motions in which I'm using. Now, this is the most important thing. You lead with the cheek of the bit. And the reason for that is I do not want to put all my pressure on this point right into her matrix area. I want to go off to the side, and I'm just gently sweeping out any debris. You're not pushing pressure in, you're literally just taking it layer by layer. And then when I get to this lateral fold, I am not going down the fold. If anything, I am pulling around the skin and just removing that dead skin cells, okay? Let me go ahead. I'm gonna start at about 9,000 RPMs. This is a big difference when you're talking about quality. I see some educators running their bits at like about 20,000 RPMs, and depending on what bits they're using, that might be necessary. Since I'm not as familiar working with those tools, everything that I'm sharing with you is for the Erica's flame shapes, okay? Our bits are used over and over again, 150 to 300 services. All right, I'm starting from center, side of my cheek, and opening up the pocket, rotating the finger and coming down this lateral fold, but I'm not filing it this way. If I do that, I end up over filing the nail, which is what I don't want to do. Therefore, I use the benefit of the flame shape, but I pull it along the lateral fold. Therefore, when I apply product, I'm less likely to flood that area. Now, make sure you bend with the nail, and as I'm feeling for that debris, I just nicely coach it right out, sweeping it out. You can see how that's opening up with each little pass. What's nice is my model's really dry, so it's just flaking right up. If your client has more wet skin, what you might find is that it just keeps on coming and it feels like you're hitting a brick wall. Sometimes cuticles to do the pocket cannot be done. Other times the cuticles have to be trained, right? Just like if I were to go to a hairdresser, my first appointment, I'm not going platinum, no matter how much I want, because my stylist is going to care about my health. Once I'm on the nail plate, I'm literally taking that tip and just gently sweeping out the debris. I can feel the debris and then I just sweep it out. Once I've done that, I just gently use that tip and start to tickle the upper lid of the proximal fold, okay? Just like that. And you can see how much more it's opened up. I'm in the reverse direction, doing my back roll so that I can see that little edge of cuticle, going along it, opening everything up, making sure the bit is parallel. And remember, just like you saw, I'm only using the very, very tip part of the bit. I'm gonna go ahead and pause my e-file real quick so you can see the debris. See how the debris is just at the tip? It's because my angle is more at a 45 degrees, so as I'm sweeping, I'm having that point flat to the nail. If I were to put my bit flat, there's no way I would be doing any cuticle work. One of the advantages of working with the soft flame shape is it's not as pointy and it doesn't have as much of a booty. So the back end is the booty. Depending on shapes is totally a personal preference. I like a bit that has a little bit of booty because I also want to do my exfoliating around the fingertips, especially like if my client has crunchies right here. I want to take a minute, drop my barrel, and to clean this area. I can like literally feel it catching. Now that I have my lip, take some alcohol, always towards my client. And let's go ahead and peek inside and see how that little pocket looks. Nice and cleaned up. I can see I have this little edge right here. We're just gonna go ahead and cut that right off. Beautiful. This is where you can decide, do you want to exfoliate this dead rim right here? Or do you wanna go ahead and cut it? Now let's talk about this nail. See how this one is a little tighter? depending where your comfort level is, okay? So listen to this, all right? Some of you are very easily gonna be able to go into this nail right here and go in with a flame. Others of you are going to want to use another bit to just open it up a little more. That way then you can get underneath. It's always about personal preference. So even me, my personal preference is going to be using more of a rounded tool to open it up, or a flat tool, and then going in with my flame. So is one right or wrong? It is personal preference. For me, anytime I'm going into something tight, I don't like to go in something really pointy, but I know a lot of you do it and have beautiful results. I also know some of you do it and it's also causing damage. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's the aha moment in this video, is that we want to open up the cuticle. So again, I'm gonna go in, just release the cuticle. This is also me touching base with my client to say, how does that feel?
Feels good.
Awesome. So this is totally a personal preference. Because her cuticles are a little tighter and she is a new model to me, which means I don't know her cuticles, I like to start off with a little rounded bit to open up the pocket. Also, I'm doing her prep. If there's a little bit of lifting, or I just really want to soften that edge, because this is a larger tool, I will also go ahead and do that, gently pushing into the proximal fold to keep that nice shape. I'm just in the forward direction, but see how I opened it up a little more? I'll show you the difference. So when a client is kind of tight like that and they're new, I like to open it up and also get all those dead skin cells off. And now I will open it up with my flame. We're in the forward direction with the precision. You can tell that it's pointier as well as has more of a booty. My angle is going to change depending on the shape of my flame, right? I want to make sure that zone 1 is parallel to the nail plate, and I'm just putting the bit underneath and just gently sweeping. The bit is actually on the nail plate and just pulling that debris back and off the nail plate. I'm in the forward direction, and for all my lefties, you're gonna do the same thing, but you're gonna start in reverse and end in forward. But the motions will be the same. I'm opening up that pocket. Gonna go ahead and do all 10 fingers, put my E-file in neutral or turn it off, switch to reverse and open up this side right here. And I can definitely tell my client is right-handed, and this is exactly where she puts her E-file because she's a nail tech, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, because it's nice and hard right here. So some of you are gonna fixate and loosening all that up. No, we can make it look pretty, but at the end of the day, that's her working finger, so let it be. And I'm gonna use that booty to pull back the skin. See, this is what I love, that little edge right there. And then I just take my bit in this forward motion. I just exfoliated it all off. Woo, she's so pretty. Now I got the medium nib, you guys. I am running it at about 12,000 RPMs. I find that a lot of my nail professionals like working with the nibs, especially if they're doing acrylic. I find that my acrylic users really enjoy working with the nib because it's a smaller shape. So as their product's growing out, they don't take it down as much at the apex level, and this tool fits very nicely. Now, the thing is, because it is a very small tool, if you're noticing that there's little rings like every 3 weeks, it's because we're operating too much at this angle, which is incorrect. That can be due to product. So we're literally digging right into the nail plate, and what we're seeing is damage on the nail plate. We still want to go flat. Everything is topical. Layer by layer, layer by layer. Sweep, sweep, sweep. All 10, and then the opposite. So the reason I go forward and reverse, and I think it's really important, is because we really want the skin to go away from the nail plate. We want to open it up and off. If I put my E-file in the forward direction and I worked on the left side, it's just going to squish it down. And that's everything that I don't want it to become. And this is the large. One of the advantages of working with a larger flame is it has like kind of like a built-in gauge. There's only so deep I can go, which is a good thing. Sometimes people like a more skinny flame and pointy, so it can get more intricate detail, whereas others like to have this little gauge where it has like a little safety measure. Also, having that big old booty allows for a lot more exfoliation around the skin. Some of the bits come in medium and some come in fine. It all just depends on the type of skin. I'm a big pusher before product just because I kind of want to tuck everything. This guy right here is going to be a little tighter because that's where we put our E-file. We all kind of have our little hump or our callus. Sometimes we just make it more complicated
Choose the tool that's right for you and the cuticle. If you're still struggling and like, Erica, I travel the world teaching e-file classes. I love dry manicuring. So get connected, come to our website, Erica's ATA, see where I'm gonna be next. And you know what? If I'm not close to you, that's okay. I like to travel. Get a bunch of friends, let's have a good time. Dry manicure and cocktails for life.
So we have used 4 different flames. You would never use 4 different flames in a setting, okay? But I just wanted to show you the different styles, same techniques, all right? But look, we got little pockets. Now, depending on this little rim right here, this is gonna tell me what your personal preference is are we gonna nip or are we gonna exfoliate? Now, whatever you do, we know at the very end, once we've applied our product and our color, we're also going to soften everything with a very fine Big E or with the polishing ball. And the reason for that is whenever we have blunt edges, we always wanna soften the skin so that it grows out nicely with the live tissue. Okay, does that make sense? We're just smoothing everything out. So whether you decide to nip or to exfoliate, have at it. I told you could either use nippers or exfoliation. I'm gonna show you how to do both. The first thing I'm gonna do, because her skin is more dry, is I'm going to use the refine ball and medium grit. So I'm gonna put my e-file in the reverse direction, and I'm gonna start it at about 14,000 RPM. I feel like medium is gonna be a good choice because what I don't wanna do is tear the skin. Now I gotta be really careful with that chunk right there, especially because that's in a tear zone. So I'm at 14,000 RPMs, pulling the skin tight, not stretching it across, but literally pulling it up. Think Daddy Shark. Now that I have Daddy Shark, moving my bit in a circular motion across that rim, trying to keep all of the pressure just on that little opaque band. You ready? Let's do this. All right, circular motions at 14,000 RPMs. See how it's just buzzing right off. Circular motions, little circles, doo-dah, doo-dah. Boom, chakalaka. All right, now on the fingertip, because she's dry, just circular motions, exfoliating all that skin, just softening everything, and then coming up and around, right? Ready, see that piece right there? I'm using my pointer finger to pull, skin tight, boop, 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 and it just flaked right off. For those of you who like your nippers, just little baby bites. Let the sharp tools do the work. Nippers are not my best friend, but I know they're your best friend. They belong at your nail station. Just give me a second. Let me breathe. See how I'm not pulling though? That way I'm not tearing into live tissue. It's too much pulling. And because of that, we got like a, what's it called? I don't want to say a jacked up nail, but we've torn into the live tissue. But even all this, instead of me going at here and like taking chunks of it, I would rather wait till the end and just soften it. Everything I'm doing is to prevent any kind of damage, so less is more. Okay. All right. Exfoliation, cutting. Now, enhancement. Psst. Okay. You guys, if you are new to nails, the number one thing I would say is use a polishing bit at the very end, no matter what you're doing. Softening that skin that we've been exfoliating and dehydrating. Like, this is actually, like, my favorite part. It feels so good for your client, and it really sets, like, look at all that. It literally sets the nail up for success along with the skin. Look at that. That's exactly what I want to see. Softening it, applying a little bit of pressure as we're just buffing the oil in. If you're going to put a little more pressure, it's just to kind of get those little flyaways. But that little band that I've just cut, I'm now softening. Beautiful. All right, and then this one I exfoliated. But I still know anytime I soften, it's going to just help the skin set up for success so that it can nicely, I don't want to say bond. What's the word? It just nicely lays. It nicely lays on the skin. I just buff it in, hydrate it. So as my client goes and lives her life, we don't have any splits in the skin. That's what I really care about. It's hydrating and maintaining a healthy nail If your goal is to have a more detailed manicure, in my opinion, you need to have a flame, and it doesn't matter which one. It matters on what shape is gonna work for you. So just choose one. Do you like a little booty? Do you like a little point? If that means nothing to you, watch a few more videos and then maybe you'll find one. So find your shape and then get both grits because it does matter. Grit matters. Check out my other YouTubes on that. The number one thing that we're trying to do with the flame is we're just trying to clean up under the proximal fold. This allows us to tuck the polish and have a beautiful, clean look. Now, can you hurt somebody? Oh yeah. Can you create a beautiful, healthy manicure? Oh yeah. It all comes down to operation. Practice, practice, practice. And look, we have healthy, beautiful pockets that we don't have to spend 3 hours doing a beautiful manicure. Look, here on the Erica's page, I'm gonna set you up for salon nails. I'm not doing editorials. There's no editing. We have real people talking to real nail techs, making them feel beautiful and showing you can get great results with minimal work. But it's all about picking the right tool and then making sure that the technique follows the tool. So, you want a pocket? Get a flame. Which flame? Try them out, see which one fits for you.